It's Suns, it's Mavs. Luka, Booker. What? Huh? They traded him? When? Psychos and sickos unite for an old school rivalry, maybe reignited edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts Casinos. You do you. At Gila River Resorts Casinos, visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Eric, that's Gil. We got Espo and the Freckle Mama behind the Mac. Making all of the magic happen as the Phoenix Suns look to snap a 3-game skid at home against the struggling Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about Jalen Green. Devin Booker. We'll talk a little come on Mala watch as well, as the Suns are now just 2 games away from the All-Star break. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But gentlemen, we did it. 50,000 subscribers here on PHNX Sports. It looks real damn good on YouTube. So thank you to everybody who is one of the 50,000. For those of you who made 2 accounts, you're extra special.
And if you're not subscribed, screw you.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Right that wrong.
It's free. And just because we have 50K doesn't mean you have to stop subscribing now. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't hit that like button too. And doesn't mean that you shouldn't get our new shirt as well. Dillon, the villain, is thrilling. Hopefully he has a good game tonight, but you can rep for him every single day. Go phnx.com. Hit that merch tab and help support the crew. If you want a Blue Collar Boy shirt, if you want a Jordan Knott shirt, if you want some new Phoenix Suns merch, well, you got to support this one so we can keep getting them made. Go check that out. Go phnx.com. Gentlemen, how we feeling?
Feel a lot better if they come out and take care of business against a team that is tanking. But I talked with Bobby Carella this morning of DLLS Mavs, and it made me feel a little bit better about tonight.
Why?
Okay.
Because he admitted they're in tank mode. They're not full jazz yet, but maybe tonight could be the night where they start that, plus some things going on with Cooper Flag that we can talk about as we get into it.
Not full jazz, like a little pet band.
Yeah,
They're not full.
They're just tapping their toes.
Not jazz flute.
Just like a pianist going on, somebody there, here and there. Yeah, I feel okay about it. I mean, it's a team that's lost 7 straight coming to town. You've lost 2 straight, so something's got to give one way or the other. They're a talented team. They've got some guys who play hard, and I know we'll get into that a little bit, but got to bounce back. Got to bounce back. This team typically responds, so I'm looking to them do that again.
Yeah, this is a pretty important game here. Now, do you guys want to guess? And Gil, I said this before, so let's see if your listening skills have been put to the test here. The last time the Mavericks lost 8 straight games? Just give me the year.
I know it. You go ahead.
1990.
No.
I have no clue.
2016.
So we're taking it back to 2016, like the trends from recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going
There
back.
you go.
So it's been 10 years.
10 years.
It's been 10 years since the Mavericks lost 8 games in a row. That is on the table tonight. And it feels like it's been 10 years since the Suns picked up a victory at home. I mean, this is not a team in the Suns that lose at home that often. And that's kind of the problem here. They picked up 3 straight losses. They're 17-9 at home. 33% of their losses at home this season have come in the last week. So you got 2 more home games tonight, and then tomorrow night, the second night of a back-to-back to right that. And tomorrow night's going to be a lot tougher than tonight. It really feels like there's a lot of pressure for a random Suns-Mavs game a couple days before the All-Star break.
I mean, I think it's more pressure in the fans' minds than it is the players' minds. They understand they got guys back. They're trying to figure it out. I think fans are probably the ones closer to hitting that panic button. And when you look at the Mavs, I'm not, and this could come back to bite me in the ass post game. I'm not overly concerned in this, but as Miami learned last night, just because a team's tanking, just because a team sits all their guys in the 4th quarter, doesn't mean that you're automatically going to win if you don't come out and play. But I think tonight's the night we see Devin Booker look a little bit more like Book. We see Jalen Green look a little bit more like Jalen Green. The Phoenix Suns look a little bit more like the Phoenix Suns that we've come to know.
I think to your point too, like I don't think it's pressure in the players' minds, but I do think there's we talked about them needing to bounce back and kind of recognizing the moment. I think they are very aware of what's going on. I think that their mindset is probably, look, we haven't been ourselves. Thursday was uncharacteristic, and I don't think that is a secret to them. Saturday wasn't great either, and I think that they're like, okay, well, we can make this better. Book and Jalen Green are going to be a little more comfortable this time around, having the long layoffs for both of them. So I think that they will have it on their mind. That's why they typically respond, because it's a very self-aware group and understanding what needs to get done and taking care of business because they didn't do it last week.
I feel like we've been dancing around it. Let's dive right in, full jazz into our Suns must-win meter for tonight. And it is going to be a high one, 9.2 on the Suns must-win meter. Steven's at a 7.5 because he's Steven, so yeah, that makes sense. Gil, you're at a 9.5. Ayrton's at a 9. Espo, you and I are both maxed out at a 10.
I went 11 in the chat.
You're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to go.
I went there in Slack, but I know we can only go 10 on the meter.
But you want everybody to know that. Well, you want everybody to know this is so important of a game, Espo.
Well, I mean, it is in the fact that you are playing a bottom feeder now in the West, and they waved that white flag, and not Cooper, or a week ago, and made it very clear to everybody what they were doing. And right now you have a great opportunity in front of you, because the rest of the West did not take advantage of you losing the last 2 games. You're still in a realistic shot at getting 4, and you need to get in and get the wins, especially when you're playing a team like this. It's a complete must-win for me tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you right there, and I think we've talked about this often because it feels like 2-game stretches of losses, because it's not a streak until it goes to 3. I'm always like, look, avoid that 3rd loss in a row. You don't want a losing streak, especially knowing what looms on the other side of this back-to-back tomorrow. So I think it's really important to take care of business against a team that's lost 7 in a row. Don't be the team that they see one go through with that. You're at home. There's just so many things like that. Also recognizing where we are as it pertains to the All-Star break being right around the corner as well. So I think it's just massive to get this done tonight.
1 game back from the Timberwolves in the 6th seed, a game and a half back behind the Lakers in the 5th seed, and then 2 games behind the Rockets in the 4th seed. So it's not as close as it was before. You have taken a little bit of a hit here, but nothing that you can't come back from. The Rockets are playing the Clippers tonight. That's currently a 1-point game heading into the 2nd quarter. The Lakers take on the Spurs, so you do have some chance to make up some ground if both of those teams lose. Luckily for the Suns, the injury report looks pretty good tonight. It's not perfect, but of course, let's get into our injury report presented by our friends over at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandwifelawteam.com. We know Grayson Allen, Isaiah Livers, they are out until after the All-Star break when they will be reevaluated. We don't know if they'll be back then. Of course, Cole Anthony, despite what Cole Anthony in our chat said in our last post game, is not with the team. Presumably, he will be cut.
It's beyond presumably. Cole Anthony will be cut from the Phoenix Suns sooner rather than later.
Yes, but if you notice on the Suns side of things, Gil, no Jalen Green, no Devin Booker. Now it's the first sign of a back-to-back. We'll get into that in a second, but it's pretty great to not even see them as questionable going in for tonight.
Right, absolutely. That's a step in the right. Like a leap in the right direction as far as both of those go. Step felt too mild with that, but the fact that we were kind of not expecting both of them to be available over the weekend and to go from that. And that also shows us that there were no setbacks Saturday. And that's the thing. Now we're talking to the point where Devin Booker come back from the ankle is very different. But with Jalen Green, the pain management with the hip and the injury management with the hamstring, taking those steps in the right direction. And I think it's just stringing together a few games first and then increasing that workload. So this is the right trajectory that you want to see going into All-Star break.
Yeah, 100%. And not even being listed as probable or any indication or designation is big. Now, I think we will, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, we'll see them show up tomorrow on there, but tonight, clean bill of health, and that's good.
Jordan Ott talked about what the plan is with Devin Booker and Jalen Green with this home back-to-back.
No, I think when you've been out that long, something we're super mindful of. That's why we'll stick to the target range of competitive minutes, try to put them in a good place. But but we're super mindful of how he is feeling, how he's moving. And then for as far as tomorrow, like we will have to wait specifically him, but we've done the same with Mark. We're going to do the same with Book. Like he's coming off a major ankle injury, and he's sped up his recovery to come out and play. Now that thing's hard, on back-to-back nights. So we'll check in with all of our guys. Back-to-backs are hard around the league. We do know we have a week off in between for the next game, but we'll check in with all those guys.
Didn't rule them out, but of course we'll be looking for the injury report tomorrow morning. It will definitely at least say questionable. Honestly, I think if they pick up a win today, they might not play.
A big wait and see, I would think. I think how they pick up the win is going to be an important part of it too, because again, you call them the bottom feeder. Espo is the team that's lost a lot, and they're going to be focused on the future here soon. They probably are focused on the future, and by the future I mean ping pong balls in May. So if the Suns can take care of business to an extent that we've seen them do, not last week, but the week before when they took care of business against the Cavs and the Pistons, which is kind of wild to think in retrospect, and they can create some distance and they can limit those guys' minutes, maybe we see them on the back end of the back-to-back, again, knowing it's OKC, knowing they're a very physical team, but also knowing there's going to be a long layoff after that. I don't know if you have a feel for Espo, but you think it's just like kind of off base on the night?
No, I think you're right on the money with it. I think there'll be a game time decision designation tomorrow. Need to see how they respond. We'll hear all that kind of stuff at shoot around tomorrow. But I'm of the belief, as long as there's no serious setback or any concern, playing both nights. You get a week off. You need as many wins as you can get in this Western Conference, and just simply, saying, "Oh, it's Oklahoma City. We're gonna sit them both." No, play them. You got to get wins. And unless Book's ankle swells or something's going on with Jalen and his hip or his hamstring, you get 7 days of rest. You can deal with whatever nicks and bumps you got at that point, but play if there's no setbacks.
Well, and we heard yesterday from Jalen Green talking about how he doesn't fully trust his body yet. At a certain point, you got to let him play through some of that pain so that he can prove that he can get through it, right? That is a mental hurdle because guys are going to be sore. I know a lot of the times it doesn't show up on injury reports, but players are always battling through something.
At this point of the season, for sure.
Right, or you're extra sore after a game because you put in a little bit more, you got bumped and hit around, and you're not going to go on the injury report, but you got to play through it. For a guy like Jalen, who hasn't been allowed to play through it, rightfully so, he's been injured, you've got to kind of get through that bump. And for Book, man, like 21-9 last game, we talked about it. Counting stats were okay, but if you watched him play, he didn't look like himself except for a couple of the times that he was operating in the mid-range. String together two good back-to-back games, starting with tonight against a team that you usually like to have good games against, and then go into the All-Star break feeling good, because as much as this is a good layoff when it comes to resting and relaxing your body, you still want to enter it on a high note, right? And the team, as of right now, is on probably the lowest note of 2026. Now, it's not a huge low note. 2 losses in a row, 3 losses straight at home, sandwiched between a great win against Portland with a bunch of injuries, but still feels like a relatively low point. If you can win tonight and tomorrow, get good Jalen Green and Devin Booker games in both of them, I think Suns fans and the Suns internally will feel very good about where they are headed into the All-Star break.
No doubt. You have to get as many wins as possible the rest of the way. The playoffs have started in the Western Conference. That is where you're at, and everything matters more than the in-season tournament now. So get there and get working on it. By the way, hello, Sean. Hello, Angel. Good to see you back here for pregame. Glad you guys made it in there. Glad to have you along with us.
And Anime and Hoops 9. Okay, let's keep on going here.
I love me some J. Cole.
Yeah? What was your favorite song off the album?
All of them. Couldn't pick one. That'd be disingenuous.
Name one song off the album.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them was my favorite song, too. I can't believe you nailed that. Let's get into our credit check. No J. Cole, but let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union, the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns. But here we're taking a look at Dallas. No easy feat tonight, even though no Kyrie, no Derek Lively, and no Klay Thompson because of rest. But Dallas's defense has been dominant, Gil. 114.4 defensive rating, 53% defensive field goal percentage. That's top 5 in the NBA. 33.9 opponents' 3-point percentage. That is number 1 in the NBA. 18.8 opponents' free throw rate per game. That's third in the NBA. Not great at generating turnovers. 13 defensive turnover percentage, 26 in the NBA, but 13.2 stocks per game. That's about middle ground. So really great at defending the three. Really great at not sending their team to the line. Those are two things that the Suns have been relying on in order to get their offense going the last couple of games.
Yeah, Wiseman once said that defense wins championships, and they were trying to build this Mavericks team around defense. So I guess that's kind of paying off. Or
too bad some of that's in Washington.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess that's how it goes now. But I think that just goes to show you that like this Mavericks team is a very unique one. Obviously, the Anthony Davis trade has made them look a little different and has like again spun things forward to the bigger picture. But they do have some pesky guys. Like Cooper Flag is for a rookie. Rookies are typically bad at defense, but he has some good defensive instincts, specifically off the ball. Najee Marshall, they call him the knife. He plays well defensively as well. So they have some guys, and Daniel Gafford still cleans things up sometimes when he's out there on the floor as well. So you think about the way that they play defense, and Jason Kidd being a coach who can scheme some things defensively. It's not just a team that's going to let you have things. Now, their last time out, they gave up about 140 points. So some of the personnel is not what it once was. So I'm curious to see how these defensive numbers maybe change over the last 2 months of the season. There are pockets of ways to make it happen. I think big thing for the Suns will be to get in that rim pressure that we talked about yesterday during our 3 p.m. show and kind of right some of those wrongs offensively, and having Jalen Green back should help.
Yeah, they gave up their most first half points they had all year, 81.
Yeah.
The other night. So defense, maybe not the calling card that it once was. And as Bobby said, you got match Najee Marshall's freak every night. And so I hope Dillon Brooks is up for that freak. And by the way, did Klay Thompson need rest because of Torrey Craig's ex-girlfriend?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was his birthday the other day.
He had Bone Thugs and Harmony perform.
Yeah.
What?
He partied.
What that cost? Like $50 right now?
It's like an in-person cameo.
Bone Thugs, and we need the money, all right?
Harmony.
See, look, I know me some Bone Thugs and Harmony. I know
That's
that.
fair.
Like, whether I know J. Cole or not, I know Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I know Joshua, who's been a member for 1 month, using his free super chat prepaid every single month that you're a member, says, can't play lazy tonight. Let's get this win. Go Suns. I agree with that. Now, you mentioned Dillon Brooks matching Najee Marshall's freak. Might I remind you, December 27th, Mark Williams and Jose Alvarado fight. Actually, no, it was before Christmas. It was the Pelicans back-to-back. The second night of it, Mark Williams, Jose Alvarado fought.
It was after Christmas. You had it right.
Okay, whatever. A lot of games. And Najee Marshall posts that fight on his Instagram story, says, say less, twin. I got you. Guess what? Tonight's the night.
Tonight's the
Mavericks, Suns, Najee Marshall, Mark Williams. I wonder if they get chippy and into it tonight.
I mean, it doesn't feel like to me that Mark gives a crap about anybody wanting to fight him. Like he's such a chill dude. But maybe if he sets one of those illegal screens on that shoulder that's bothering Cooper Flag, I certainly could see Najee Marshall wanting to mix it up.
Well, and Cooper Flag is certainly the focus that the Suns have going into tonight. Jordan Knott talked about how that's a good test for Mark Williams because Cooper Flag does not play like a rookie, especially when he attacks the paint. We've seen Cooper Flag do things that we've never seen somebody of his age do. Now, I know the season started off a little rough for him, but he has really become a full-fledged young star in this league over this season, and he can single-handedly win the Mavericks a game on any given night, even though he hasn't done it the last 7 games.
Yeah, guy's good. I saw him play last year when he was in college in person, and you kind of just tell he had the it factor, and that like when his team needs a bucket and the momentum is swaying, he kind of can sense that game feel and make those plays. And it's harder to do it in the NBA when you are starting your career at 18 years old, and there are guys out there that are sometimes twice your age. But I think that J. Kidd has done a great job throwing him into the fire and allowing him to kind of just learn as time goes on. And we've seen it, the 49-point game and the big shots that he's been able to make. I'm curious, though. We've seen some rookies this year have their welcome to the NBA moments against this Suns defense. So whether it's Dillon Brooks or Jordan Goodwin or a combination of a lot of those guys making life difficult for him, Cooper Flag is playing more off the ball than he was at the beginning of the year. So I'll be interested to see how the Mavericks try to get him involved. And will it be on the ball, off the ball? Which one? He likes to go to that left hand and get to that pull-up. So I think the Suns are going to make life difficult for him. That will be the guy that they focus in and key in on defensively. So will the physicality impact him or not?
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see how Jordan Ott plans defensively for him and what the approach is tonight in that way. That's what I'm looking at and trying to understand, because we've seen him bring out some creative defensive matchups in the past and try to do things.
Sorry, Sean might be my #1 hater. Sean literally came in here. He's like, hey guys, haven't been on a live in a whole time. I'm actually just here to root against Eric's bet. And then also says, I'm on hard times right now. I accidentally shaved off my beard, so I finally look younger than Eric, even though he's like 6 years older than me.
Look, man.
Crazy.
Sean, Eric wouldn't fully understand. When you have the luscious beard and you nick that bad boy, you gotta shave it off.
I'm going to Turkey, but not for the hairline. Even though I could go to Turkey for the hairline, I'm going to Turkey for the beard line, man.
You guys that shoe polish like Carlos Boozer.
Let me Carlos Boozer it over here. Okay, can you guys tell me the last time the Suns and the Mavericks played each other, who the leading scorer for the Mavericks was?
Luka Doncic. No, I don't remember.
Well, they played this season.
They played this season.
Brandon
Williams.
Nope.
Oh, I thought that was random.
He's resting tonight.
Klay Thompson.
Remember in pregame, I was like, I'm not worried about Klay Thompson.
No, you're not tonight.
And then he had his season high 19 points. I'm really not worried about Klay Thompson. Now, Brandon Williams did have 9 assists in that game.
I knew he did something.
He had a good game, but this Mavs-Suns game was a lot earlier in the season. The Suns were just kind of rolling for the first time. They were 7-5 after beating the Mavericks. So, of course, they were doing very well after their start of the season. And now both of these teams look very different. Now, all this time later, the Suns are a better team. They should win tonight, especially given their health. I know they're missing Grayson and Livers, who are two valuable players, obviously in different rights, but the Suns should win. It doesn't mean they don't need to do certain things to pick up that win. Let's talk about our keys of the game. And by ours, I mean Stevens. Key number 1, transition offense. Key number 2, stack timely kills and kill shots. If you don't know, a kill is 3 stops in a row. And speaking of 3, key number 3's got 3 words: pressure, pressure, pressure. Gil. Which one is your favorite?
Transition offense. I think we talked a little bit about what the Mavericks like to do in the half court and get stingy. And we talked about like a team, the Suns. I think it'd be good to just force some turnovers, get going, and especially that just fixes a lot of the issues we've seen with this team offensively as of late. I think those issues will solve themselves the more that Jalen Green and Devin Booker get reincorporated into things. But I think that kind of accelerates that level of comfort as far as that goes. I don't know if you're on the same page as me or what.
Mavs need to be under pressure all night from the Suns defense. Make a young guy in Cooper Flagg make some mistakes, force them into bad decisions tonight. This is a team that is lacking in talent in their current construction outside of Flagg. You make sure you take care of it. And then, if you can get up a significant amount going into that fourth quarter, there's a chance that they do say, we're good. We're not going to bring our guys back in because they kind of understand the name of the game that they're playing. So put everything you got in the first 3 quarters, and then maybe you get an easier path in the fourth so you can rest up for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, the Suns did a pretty good job against Cooper Flagg last game. 16 points, 6 of 15 from the field. Turned him a little bit into a jump shooter. He took 7 threes that game. He hit 3 of them, but that's not really his game. So if you can maybe force him to shoot some jump shots, get some good pressure, and make sure that they're not feeling comfortable, I do feel confident about the Suns' chances tonight. Plus, when you look at the rest of the Mavs in that game, of course, way earlier in the season where it was a 9-point victory for the Suns, Brandon Williams had 17 points, right? Max Christie had 12 points. He was 3 of 6 from deep. Daniel Gafford had 15. Like, everybody was scoring double digits. Najee Marshall had 12. Klay Thompson, 19 off the bench. So it was death by 1,000 cuts against the Mavericks before. I don't really think that they're going to do that tonight. Now, obviously they could. It feels like they need to have death by one big cut, and that big cut being Cooper Flagg, to really stand a chance against the Suns tonight.
100%. And they are a team that's desperate. They're a team that plays with energy the way the Suns have come out. So if you do not match that, if you do not come out locked in and ready to play, they are a team that's capable at punching back at you. But if you come out and you play your game and you do it well, you should not have a problem with this.
I think that's big. You mentioned the word desperate. You need to be the more desperate team. You're playing for much more than the Mavericks at this point. They're 14 games under 500. You're trying to get back to 10 games over 500. So I think being more desperate, especially to start the game and getting out to a good start, will be really important for the Suns tonight.
Did somebody say desperate? It's time to get into our pregame picks presented by our friends over at Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov.
We good.
Yeah, yeah. Ayrton's the positive. Cool, man.
Ayrton, you win
Welcome
last
back.
time?
Welcome back,
Yeah,
Ayrton.
Congratulations.
Cool. That's, yeah.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Cool. So this is what I'm putting my money on tonight. Yeah. I'm taking Cooper Flag, 25 plus points. Taking Devin Booker, 25 plus points. Taking Mark Williams over half an assist.
That feels like good. Yeah, I like that.
I'm taking Dillon Brooks over 1.5 stocks. Give me a plus 1,300 with a 30% profit boost for tonight. Best part is, would only about cut my deficit in half.
It's nice tonight.
But it would be a much needed win, man.
I can't wait till you're rooting for Cooper Flag down the stretch because you need 2 more points from
It's
him.
going to be the Mark assist. Everything's going to hit, and then Mark's going to hit like a wide open Jordan Goodwin who's going to throw the ball into the crowd. Like man. I'm down so incredibly bad. So incredibly bad. What about you, Gil? You're in first place. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I'm so happy for you.
You're a good friend, man.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm keeping it pretty straightforward tonight. Caleb Martin, 3+ rebounds. That kind of feels weird to start with that, but we're going with that.
1-800-NEXT-STEP, brother.
Caleb Martin, 3+
team.
rebounds. Shout out to Bet365 for the streak. He's done it a couple consecutive games now, so maybe he'll make it another. I think it's 5-6 straight games, so whatever. Devin Booker over 5.5 assists, and Jalen Green 10+ points. That is plus 275 with a 30% profit boost. Just want to see one more go through before the All-Star break.
Mine is simple. Amir Coffee, 8+ 3 points tonight. No,
Will we see him tonight?
Devin Booker, 20+ points. Jalen Green, 20+ points. Dillon Brooks, 20+ points. Plus 1,500 with a plus 30% profit boost. Go out there and kick them in the nads real fast.
I'm looking at the chat and I feel like a Make-A-Wish kid, man. Everybody's like, I believe in you, Eric. You
can
got
do
this,
it.
Eric. No, I don't. I don't got this. I think it's very clear that it is not my season. Like, when you think about it, I've hit bets. I have hit multiple bets this season, and I am negative 250. I have hit multiple bets this season, and I am negative 251.25.
Look, if I get back to even, I'm going Gil's strategy of give me plus 250.
Couple check
Dude,
downs.
if I can just hit a bet, like that's, at this point, I'm down 40 and I'm Chris Boucher off the bench who hasn't played in 3 months, and I'm still taking the shot at the end because I'm trying to see one go through the hoop. Ayrton, what are you betting on tonight, Mr. Positive?
Devin Booker, 20 points. Jalen Green, over 16.5 PRA. Colin Gillespie hitting 3 threes tonight back at home. And then the Suns' alternate spread of -4.5. That is all plus 450, of course, with the 30% profit boost.
I think Ricardo says it best. Quit betting!
I can't. It's actually in my job description. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to start. I'm going to be questionable for our betting. Rest.
I'm just gonna let the Discord or darts choose my bets moving forward.
I mean, the thing is, Espo, you're so lucky that I've been so bad.
The thing is, I've been up too. Like this, I've vacillated multiple times in this. So,
Oh my God, I just looked at the Mavericks starting lineup tonight. Cooper Flag, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Max Christie, and Tyus Jones.
Looking for revenge.
Oh my God.
they're in full tank.
Colin Gillespie is gonna see Tyus Jones and he's gonna start foaming at the mouth.
You son of a bitch. You took this away from
Dude,
me last year.
literally. Okay, before we get out of here, one last note, not necessarily about the game today as far as on the court, but the first 5,000 fans that came into tonight's game got a custom Kaman Malawach Heritage jersey, and I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to him with that, and it's such a cool jersey, first of all. Super sick. Obviously from South Sudan by way of Uganda. Like now he's here in Phoenix. We haven't seen a lot of him. He's playing a former teammate in Cooper Flagg. Jordan Ott did talk about Kaman Malawach and the honor of his heritage jersey and the night that is honoring him tonight in pregame.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it so much, and it hasn't changed. I think that speaks volume about who he is. Like, it hasn't changed in a season where he hasn't got a lot of time here with us. But his approach is going to win the day. It wins every day. The way he comes in, the way he comes back at night. He has his own routine that he's developed here in the Valley, and he's just ready for whatever. He, goes with the Valley Suns. He plays here. He's just ready to play, and he's approached this every single day, but also with a longer lens than I would say most people at that age. That it hasn't affected his spirit. And that's the part we're benefiting from right now. The way he approaches, just comes in, who he is, never changes, even though we know he wants to play. But when he does play, when his number is called, we know he's ready. And, he's got a long career ahead of him. So just his everyday interaction with us is super helpful.
Hopefully we could see some Kaman Malawach minutes tonight, and hopefully that means the Suns are blowing out the Dallas Mavericks in the fourth quarter. What do you guys think happens tonight? Let's go ahead and take a look at our score predictions. It's a clean sweep across the board. We're all going Suns. 116-109 for Steven, 115-108 for Espo, 114-103 for Gil, 109-105 for me. Gil, the largest margin of victory for the Suns tonight.
Taking care of business. I really do think they'll take care of business tonight, and I think it'll be one where they kind of pull away midway through the fourth, maybe early fourth, and double-digit win.
Yeah, I think it'll be a big lead in the fourth, and it's one of those garbage time minutes. Maybe makes it a little closer than it looks like. So
the Mavericks play hard, and I do think that those who are looking at this game as an automatic win, considering they have lost 7 games in a row, I just don't agree. I actually think the Mavericks could give the Suns a little bit of trouble tonight with how big they play. And by the way, those 7 straight losses for them: Timberwolves, Hornets, who have been on fire, Rockets, Celtics, and then back-to-backs against the Spurs. So all really good teams. Hopefully the Suns can add to that list tonight. Either way, we'll be talking about it here on Post Game for PHNX Suns. You can follow the show in the meantime at PHNX_Suns. Shout out to Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. You can follow him at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo at Espo. Follow Gil at Gil McGregor _. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. We'll be back to talk about how I'm negative 260 in just a couple of hours.
nice.
We all silly like the mayor.